The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to the Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
He's here. We don't have to find him. Got the hat's coming off. It's like it's getting serious.
Well, I realized that the downfall of the hat is I have stuff protruding from my mic stand that.
And you've got the muscle memory of like I have to be like a certain distance from the mic, and now like
Yeah,
you got something sticking out, so it's like
it's not working too well for me.
it's like a. Do you ever remember the Stallone movie Over the Top? Where it's like before he wrestles, he has to like turn his hat backwards. That's like the on switch. So you turn your hat backwards. And it's time
Yeah,
to
but then
go.
that's going to interfere with my headphones. I need like a welder's cap or something. Something billless.
Get some of those. Was it like the Daft Punk helmets?
Epic. People would be like, who's doing this recording right now? We have no clue what's going on.
Then it could be anybody. It's like we could like just farm people in. We're like, I don't want to do it this week. Let's get like these other guys do it. You just wear the helmets that way.
I mean, that's pretty much how I do it already.
That's pretty much how probably Daft Punk is. They're like, we'll write the songs. We don't want to go out and perform this shit. Like, hey, you random dudes, put on these helmets, go out there and like pretend like you're hitting switches. We're gonna go smoke a bowl. Like, okay.
Meh, meh, meh. Ham horn.
Yeah. All you gotta do is flip these switches. The tracks plays itself. Every once in a while, hit a ham horn. You're good. No one will know it's not us. Oh, so I'm smoking the Rocky Patel Edge 20th Anniversary Edition, which is kind of ironic because we're also going to be talking about a anniversary on a movie coming up. But like the old like original Edge is probably one of like the first cigars that I've had.
Dude, I can remember, like, there's always just a big bin of them. They were cheap as shit at the time, and, that was a kind of a go-to for me for a while, probably because that's what you were smoking. I didn't know shit about cigars, like.
And I was just poor, and at the time they were like $5 cigars. I mean, now they're like fucking $8, $10, they're like same as any other premium cigar. But yeah, the Edge 20th Anniversary Edition has 10-year aged tobacco, Ecuadorian Sumatra wrappers, and Nicaraguan and Honduran binder filler combo. So, the other anniversary we're going to talk about is it's been 40 years since a little movie called The Last Starfighter.
Made me want to go back and play some of my retro games.
Hell yeah. It's like, but, if you've got to take on the Armada, because I can't remember what the damn aliens' names are now. I just watched that. If you got to take on the Armada, call them the Strike Force, strikeforceenergy.com. Use your promo code CigarNerds for 20% off your order. It'll get you all hyped up so you can do a Death Blossom in the toilet. Oh, that's nasty. True. We'll be right back with the main show. And welcome back. It's time to join the Star League, or whatever the fuck was it called? We just watched this movie last night.
Space
Star League.
Force.
Yeah.
It's Space Force, bro. I mean, this had a good mix of what sort of felt to me like Tron, and it just brought out every urge. Like, it was really hard for me to not go to my storage unit and like be like, okay,
Bring
I
out,
got
like,
some
the
kind
old
of
video
like,
games.
Fight in space retro game. Like, maybe I'll get zapped to, fight in an interstellar war.
Yeah, what was that one that it was like a 2D like top-down scroller where it was like you're flying up the screen and aliens kept coming. It was like, but it wasn't Galaga, but it was like you were in like some kind of jet fighter.
Yeah, I remember that. I just don't.
Like, I remember playing the shit out of that, but yeah, The Last Starfighter, American space opera, as they're saying, came out in 1984, and going back and watching it, like the CGI, like early 80s for the 80s, I'm like, these graphics are actually not. I mean, they look cheesy as fuck now, but 1984 is like a small child. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Well, dude, we had the same thing. The last time you and I were sitting down at the cigar shop, and Mortal Kombat 95. Like, I still love the story
Yeah.
and everything else, but I'm like, whoa, that's CGI, bro.
Well, it's almost like intentional too, because I mean, Star Wars came out 5 years before this, but they extensively used models and matte paintings, which looked more realistic. Where this choosing to go with animation kind of added to that this is a video game in real life. If it had done like hyper realistic models of the Gunstar and shit,
it would not have
had the same feel. Where this is like, you literally just jumped right into the fucking video game. I mean, this was Ready Player One before Ready Player One.
I'm sure this is referenced.
Or more, what was the other book he did? Armada, where it was like kids were getting trained to fight a coming alien invasion by playing video games.
No, it's Ender's Game, bro.
Yeah, well, that too. It's all the same.
This paved the way for many.
I've read
concepts.
Armada more recently than I have Ender's Game, so I'm like, yeah, this is pretty much all that before they became like big movies and shit.
Oh my gosh, huge on.
But yeah, I mean, this had a budget of like $15 million back in the day. But yeah, the alien work too. It's like,
well, I was looking at that, and like, I'm a big Stargate fan as well, but I was like, holy shit, I can see where, a lot of their ideas came from with this film and the makeup and that sort of thing. Like, I don't know, you got some of these aliens and stuff. I'm like, that shit legit looked awesome.
oh yeah, like there's like the one guy that I forgot what his alien, the Cthulhu looking motherfucker, that when he goes to the briefing, he steps on one of his tentacles, and the dude's like, I should fucking smash you. He's like, sorry bro, I didn't see your thing, whatever that is I stepped on. Hope it wasn't your dick.
Tripping over dicks.
And like I ended up watching it with Amanda last night, and that one alien too that had like the eyeballs were on the top of his forehead, and she's like, he's got a vagina face. And I'm like, can't unsee this now.
Oh God, I didn't put that together until now.
I didn't either until
I
she
just
brought
visualized it.
Because he had like the tit eyes on top of his head, and a vagina face.
But I don't know. I mean, I can also see Doctor Who, gaining a lot of inspiration from, a lot of the creatures and that sort of stuff too. Like, yeah, I mean,
but I mean,
graphics, they were cheesy at times, but as far as story and content and enjoyability, like, dude, like watching movies like this is like, that was the fucking heyday.
Yeah, back when movies didn't want to
there wasn't anything political. There
Yeah,
wasn't,
there's no message.
any
They weren't trying to
virtue
make you,
signaling. Like, it was just
feel something.
it was just like, hey, watch this, enjoy it. We've done some cool, shit that, like, this paved the way for a lot of CGI and everything. Like, I wonder what would happen, like, with a. You think about this in 84, then you think about Jurassic Park in 93 and the advancements in, computer-generated imagery and everything. Like,
I mean, if Wikipedia can be believed, it said, this and Tron were, like, the first movies to use extensive CGI. But, yeah, I forgot, like, how, like, I was expecting, because, like I said, it's been 40 years, and I remember this being a fun movie as a kid, but I was like, is this going to be like normal old cheesy sci-fi? And then I go back to watch it, and I'm like, oh man, they like, it is cheesy, but they took that shit seriously. Like the makeup and the CGI was revolutionary at the time, but like the makeup and like the aliens and all that. I'm like, y'all spent a lot of money on this shit. There's like, this is not like recycled. Like sometimes you watch some movies, you're like, I can tell what that robot's made out of. That is definitely vacuum cleaner parts. Where this was like, oh shit, this actually like looks really cool. Like y'all did some good like effects work on at least like the makeup and shit.
Well, that and like the ships and some of the off-planet bases and stuff like that. Like once you got to the planet, I was like, oh, look at there's Mars, and Mars now has rings. But a lot of the set pieces and everything looked really damn good.
Yeah, the Star League base, like their fighter squadron. Yeah, I mean that was just looked so like detailed. Like they really kind of fleshed all that out. But to take a step back, if y'all are not familiar with the 1984 classic of The Last Starfighter, it starts off a young kid, or college age dude getting ready to he's like, man, I'm living in a fucking trailer park, and it wasn't even like really like trailer park. It was like mobile home park.
Well, dude, it kind of gave me that dystopian type vibe of
very much the Stacks from Ready Player One. Like I said, this is and he's like trying desperately to like, I gotta get into college so I can get the fuck out of this town, and I don't just live life as a handyman at this trailer park. And like the one kind of lone escape is there's a old back in the day when you didn't have like video games on your laptops or your cell phones, you actually had to go out to an arcade. There's one like at the whatever snack shack in front of the trailer park. There's the Starfighter video game, and he just like plays that shit like all the time. And there's one where he's like going for like the high score, and I'm like watching, I'm like, I recognize that look. I remember that look back when I was like hardcore into gaming, where you're like in the fucking zone, where it's like your hands are almost like, it's like that
everything's
look of, like,
kind of on autopilot.
Yeah,
like you're just relying on your subconscious to make the next
where you're
move.
just dead stare, and it's like people come up and talk to him. He's like, and he's like, just your hands are almost like moving an automatic. Now I get that when I'm like sparring and shit, or I'm like, I'm in the zone.
Auto zone.
He's got the eye of the Jew. That's a Beer Fest reference, if you're unfamiliar. But yeah, when he like, you get to that like focus zone when he's like going for the high score, I'm like, I remember that shit, because back in the day, I mean, games now, they have like adaptive AI where they can kind of, there's not really patterns, but back in the day it's like limited
you had
memory space. So it's like most of those games were kind of like on rails, where there was like a pattern, and if you wanted to be successful, you almost had to memorize the pattern of the game. So it's like, I mean, what was that freaking Adam Sandler movie where like, he's like old school competitive gamer, and he's talking to like a kid, and he's like, how do you play this stuff? Like, there's no patterns. Like, like everything in my day, you like just had to memorize the pattern, and that's how you beat the games.
No, the game beat you by crashing. Like at some point it would just be like, I don't know what to do from here. Blah.
Yeah, there was no end screen. It's like you just keep going until we run out of memory and the system dies.
Be like, did I get that 1 or 2 points that I could have potentially gotten? Who knows?
But yeah, of course, Alex, his girlfriend, goes off to the lake, and he's stuck home fixing old people's cable, and he's a little pissed off because she got a ride home from a dude, and it's like, oh yes, this is where he's gonna get the high score. I've always played my best games when something had pissed me off, and I'm like, nah, I need to blow up some aliens.
Why can't we ever have nice aliens? Why is it always got to be, the aliens are coming to get us? Like, if they can come to us, they're already far more advanced.
Yeah. Or demons from, somebody opens the Hellgate on Mars and
then they just want to play with our buttholes.
What? We're not here to kill you. We just want to touch your buttholes. That's like the one like traitor guy that's like, I'm gonna help these aliens invade, and y'all make me emperor, and I need a scepter. And it's like, that's a big butt probe there. That's gonna hurt. Ooh. I mean, he's got a sword that comes out the end of it. You don't want to get butt probed by him.
Or do you? Come on, Joe. Little.
Just the tip.
Ooh, spicy.
But we have Lance Guest as Alex Rogan, Robert Preston as Centauri, and Dan O'Hurley as Grieg. And of course, Catherine Mary Stewart as Maggie Gordon, his love interest. So yeah, homeboy gets pissed off, gets like, was it, fucking 900 million points or some shit, 900,000, like, breaks the record on the game. And like most gamers, he's like, yeah, broke the record. All right, cool. I'm just going to play another round, I guess.
Yeah, I did it once. Maybe I can beat my own.
But then it starts glitching. And I'm like, yep, that's definitely 80s video game technology. You break the high score and all of a sudden the game starts glitching. But then, dude shows up in a fucking 1984 Tesla. Looked like remember the fucking Chevy Lumina vans?
Yeah.
It's like a lowered like Lumina van or something. He's like, hey, who's the guy who beat the game? It's like, he's like, everyone, this is how like slow life is. Like, like, Alex is getting the high score. Like, wake up everybody in the trailer park. This is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to us.
Yeah, that or, I mean, it's all UHF antennas and whatnot. Like, not a lot happening in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah. There's just a whole bunch of old guys playing poker and, old women, riding her exercise bike in the yard and shit.
Dude, we're old guys that play poker.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. And if some kid was breaking the world record on a video game, I'd be like, fuck, I'll go watch that. Except now you gotta go on Twitch or whatever because there's not really arcades anywhere. If you do, it's like it's all like basically kid gambling. There's no like games. It's all shit to earn like tokens and get prizes nowadays. It's just things to extract money from from children.
What do you think every arcade machine did?
Yeah. But we didn't get prizes. We just got like, try to get our name on the high score.
Did you ever try the quarter on the string trick to be like, haha, I can glitch the system?
No. We did have some of the, I remember a guy used to have like the slugs. It was just a piece of metal cut out the size of a quarter. Those would work occasionally. You had to get like an old ass game before it would work on 80s games, but it wouldn't work on any of the it'd work at like the old ghetto games they had at like the skating rink, but you couldn't get them to work in anything 90s and above.
I guess they started implementing like laser tech, or maybe it went by weight. I don't know. I never actually figured out how like it distinguished.
Yeah.
But it did.
But I said this movie, like, probably what got me into gaming as a kid, because I was like, dude, I want to, get recruited to join the Space Armada or whatever. I want to go to the Star League.
Well, we got to go find a trailer park somewhere in a desert, and I guess start practicing.
And this was the 80s too, because yeah, guy shows up, in a weird ass car in the middle of the night, and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for the guy who beat this game." And he's like, "You're looking at him. Hey, get in the car with me, stranger." And he's like, "All right, I guess we're gonna talk video games." Nowadays, you'd be like, "Nah, bro.
We do that all the time, Joe. We literally order strangers in a car from the internet.
Oh, yeah. Remember, there was this brief period where you did shit like that, and like, this is how horror movies start. And then we got smart, and it was like, no way, we're not getting in the creepy van. I don't care if you've got candy or whatnot. And then we've gone back to ordering strangers from the internet and getting in their cars. It's like the world is getting collectively dumber. Survival instincts are going right out the window.
Wait, you guys are surviving?
Technically, we are surviving. We're definitely not thriving. we are at the bare minimum for sustaining life on this here planet. Yeah.
We're all gonna die.
Speaking of unrelated, getting into cars with strangers, some car shopping, and the guy at the dealership is like this probably 20-something-year-old kid. Fucking kid. And we're taking the car around the block, and he's like, so what do you do for fun? I'm like, well, mostly talk shit, smoke cigars, and shoot guns. And he's like, damn, you're cool. I was like, right on, dude.
Now give me a discount.
Yeah.
God, I'm not looking forward to buying another car.
Yeah, if I didn't have to, I would not have. But one died.
One died and another emerged.
The Gray Ghost.
Is that what you named it?
I don't know. I'm still workshopping it.
Seeing what fits.
Yeah. Got to get some like Mandalorian shit to put on it now, just so it's a little more personalized. But yeah, old Centauri apparently he's like, yeah, I invented the game. Get in the car. Let's talk about it. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm just locking you in. I'm like, this is my space rape van, and I'm kidnapping you now.
Enjoy your probing.
Yeah, very much like old school Shanghai, where it's like you get a little drunk in the bar and you wake up on a ship. You've been, signed up to the Navy. So yeah, apparently the video game was a recruiting tool for the Star League, but it was not supposed to go to kind of primitive planets. But Centauri sent it to Vegas, and it got lost, and it ended up in a trailer park in the middle of nowhere, California. Designed to test your skills as a starfighter.
We do that shit with simulators all the time.
And it's not like a bad plan, because basically the Starfighter is just the gunner. Like, he doesn't have to fly the spaceship. That's what the navigator's for. Like, he's like, I'm the guy who learned to fly this thing and how to maintain it and program it. All you have to do is like pull triggers. And this game has like trained your fucking like, honed your reactionary skills to be really good at, being a trigger puller. So it's not like he's like, all right,
muscle memory and hand-eye coordination.
Yeah,
and,
so it's not like we got to show you up
reflexes.
and train you how to like be a fighter pilot. Learning to like actually fly is a complicated thing. But like, if we can just use this video game to train you to shoot stuff, then we can just throw you right into the war.
And that's kind of what they did. Like, it's like, okay, you're at the helm. Figure it out. Try not to die. If you die, we both die.
Yeah, and of course he gets there and realizes like, I didn't sign up for this shit, and they're all like, yeah, victory or death. And he's like, no, I got scammed by this alien dude here. I want to go home. And yeah, they're like, you're actually turning down being a starfighter? No, pussy. Even they find the recruiter. He's like, dude, I don't want to do this. He's like, what are you, chicken? And I'm like, yeah, man the fuck up, Al. If aliens abduct me and like, hey, we want you to fly X-Wings, I'm like, bet. Like, I'm down.
You apes want to live forever?
Yeah, exactly. Service guaranteed citizenship. Come on, bro.
I don't think they knew that at the time.
Oh, it's the Kodan Armada. That's what I was trying to remember.
It's almost like Sultan.
Sultan. Oh. But unbeknownst to him, he's like, they're like, we don't just kidnap people. We leave a robot to fill in for you while you're back home. And when that thing's like turning into like Alex, like he's just been in bed moaning all day, and like you see the covers come back and he's still kind of like growing, and he's like turning, and I'm like, yep, that's what you look like hungover. That's like a Dragon Con morning after we've been drinking till 6 a.m. and try to make an 8 a.m. panel. I've seen that look.
No, we are the epitome of that look. Like everybody just shambles. It's not really even walking. It's just
yeah. Those early morning panels. It's like the zombie like walker. The line at the 2 restaurants that like have breakfast in the food court. It's like everybody lined up the hall trying to get into Dairy Queen to get a biscuit, and everybody's just like, I'm still drunk. Or I'm not drunk enough.
Yeah, like you wake up feeling that way. You just gotta start drinking again. Get back on that level.
Secret is bring your own coffee. That way you don't have to go wait in that line at Caribou.
Dude, that fucker's ridiculous.
Speaking of which, they're opening a Caribou Coffee and coming. I was like, I've never seen this outside of Dragon Con. But they're opening one up off X13.
Seen them around, but I'm not a big coffee guy. Like, I'll try different varieties of Black Rifle, and I like several of the flavors, but it's not one of those where it's like, oh, fuck, I'm awake. Must have coffee, like so many people are.
I don't know. I've developed that addiction, but yeah, I'm never out and about where I'm like, I need to go to a Starbucks. I'm like, I just want my black ass coffee with just a dash of enough cream to just
I've learned that there's never a need for me to go to Starbucks. Like, one, I don't care about the coffees and stuff, but then two, like even, like their fruit ice drinks and stuff like that are so watered down that I'm just like, this tastes like very lightly flavored water with ice in it. No, I'm not like, now Planet Smoothie or a Smoothie King or something. Fuck yeah, I'm all about that life. Like, yes, I want all the frozen fruits, but I don't know. I've kind of been weird lately. Like I've been trying to cut out a lot of caffeine and sugar and trying to sort of, like, I feel like I'm dropping weight, but I'm wanting to continue kind of dropping weight.
Yeah, I mean, I just live off caffeine and hate, but I always go sugar-free. I don't put sugar in my coffee. I use, like, sugar-free creamer if I use creamer. I just put just enough to take the edge off, go from, like, murder to contemplate murder, as that meme shows. It's like, let's commit murder. It's like, ooh, this coffee's too dark. Let's think about murder. All right, that's good enough.
The only creamer I need is called whiskey.
A good old Irish coffee. I've done that before. It seems like you get drunk. I don't know if it's like the heat of the caffeine, like the alcohol gets in your system faster.
Something intensifies.
Yes.
Maybe it's just a combination
It's
of
like,
not
woohoo.
quite being fully awake or whatever, but I don't know. Like, but then I hear about the whole, like, James Reese, with his honey, milk concoction and coffee.
Like, that's
like,
just too much. That's too sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big milk person, but I love the shit out of some honey.
I did put some of that. I tried the spicy honey in the coffee, and that was actually not bad. Anyway, we're way off topic at this point. And typical 80s little brother, like with his, like, it's pre-internet, so he's got that stash of Playboys. He's just like, fuck, where's June? I need the new shit. And like, I was like, go to bed, or I'm gonna tell mom you're like, where your Playboys are. He's like, oh shit, that was a legit threat back in the day.
Oh yeah, for sure. I used to when I got my hands on them, like I had a comic book stack and like baseball card Beckett's and everything else. So I'd kind of work them in between the pages of the other, shit. Like,
If you had like had them in plain sight, you had like a stack of like Nintendo Power and whatever like actual magazines, and like somewhere mid stack there's a couple Playboys stashed in there. You turn them so it's like the pages instead of the spine are sticking out, so you if someone just happened to look, they wouldn't see the name on the back.
looks like this here has a lot of photographs.
Or I did have I briefly tried to. I got a guitar for Christmas one year, but I never got lessons, so I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And the amp had a big hole in the back, and I would just shove them up inside the amp. That was my other stash point.
Secretly, somebody has picked up that amp and's like, holy fuck, I have a relic.
Yeah, sold it at some point, and it's like, forgot about it, and it's like, somebody finds 80s Playboys stashed in a fucking amp. Shit, it probably worth something these days, damn it.
Priorities, bro, priorities.
But yeah, even the effects on like Robot Alex was pretty good. When he's thinks his hearing's messed up because he's hearing the like fucking distress call thing. He doesn't know the bounty hunters are there yet, and he like takes his head off. He's like working on his ear, and like the other guy shows up, and he's like, or his brother like wakes up, he's like, what the shit? He's like, hey, you're having a nightmare, go back to bed. And then he sees like the bounty hunter ship landing. He's like, fuck. And he does that like stressed out pinch your nose thing, but his head is off. So he's like just sitting on the desk, and he's just holding his head and pinches his nose. Fuck.
This is gonna be all bad.
Oh. Yeah, so Alex comes back and gets ambushed by the bounty hunters, and Centauri gets shot, and he's like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. We got a robot here to protect your family. You should go back to be a starfighter. But unbeknownst to him, the Armada had some traitors and attacked the Star League and blew up all the pilots and all the ships, except for one, the prototype that Craig happened to be working on down in the basement. He's like, yeah, dude, all the starfighters are dead. You're the last starfighter. All right, let's go. Let's go do war. What? I'm the last one? Yeah, dude.
It's gonna be fine. You're gonna do great.
Speaking, is it just me, or did Craig kind of look like a big penis?
Yeah, a little bit, but
He had a very like penis head.
I mean, but not like Conehead head.
Yeah. I mean, he just had that like ridge.
It's like, you've got a permanent mushroom stamp.
Yeah. He's like, we live in a cave. They're talking about that. He's like, they're like hiding in a cave. He's like, wait a minute. Me and my brother used to play this game called hide and seek. We should, because we've got only way to take out the Armada is to take out the communication satellite, so all the other ships can't coordinate and act as one. But to get to that, we have to go through the Armada. What if we just hide and then attack it from the butt? And he's like, that might work. Too bad we don't have any starfighters here, huh? Maybe there's one left. He finally gets his balls. But yeah, when they're there talking about it, he's like, what's where are you from? He's like, yeah, this place reminds me of home. He's like, this asteroid reminds me. Yeah, where I come from, we live like underground in caves with my brood
like
of
6,000
yeah,
fucking kids. Like, does that happen in litters? Like, are you just that fucking gangster?
I assume it's kind of like
Eggs?
yeah, like reptiles. Like usually, it's like snakes usually birth a bunch of fucking snakes.
Spiders.
That too. He's like, I'm gonna die with this psycho iguana. He's like, do you ever, who wants it? He's like, dude, it's gonna be a slaughter. He's like, that's the spirit. He's like, no, my slaughter.
Like, these are supposed to be words of encouragement, not words of self-doubt.
Oh, there's man up, Alex. Oh yeah, when Homeboy like,
Don't worry, they were based on stormtroopers. They miss
yeah.
a lot.
Oh yeah, I thought it was cool too when he's like first getting kidnapped and he's in the spaceship on going and Centauri like wipes his human face off and then like pulls his fake eyeballs out and like shines them up before he puts them back in.
Dude, you gotta have clean glasses.
I was like, that's a cool effect. I gotta clean up my eyeballs before I put them back on.
If ever I got a glass eye, that would be me. I'd be like, this bitch needs to sparkle.
Oh, you remember that movie? Speaking of, this might have been early '90s. Last Action Hero with.
Yeah.
Remember the one guy that had like the glass eye, and he had like a whole bunch of different ones. So it was like the eye was like constantly changing throughout the movie. He had like the yellow smiley face. He had like an 8-ball. He had like all these different. That would be kind of cool if you had to have a glass eye instead of making it look like a real eye. Just do all kind of weird shit with it.
I'd be like, oh, this is going to be a fun outing. Let me put in my fun eye.
Yeah. One is just like crosshairs.
Or,
it's like
this is a somber outing. I got my teardrop.
I mean, and now today's technology, we could probably like,
Just tattoo that shit.
or it'd be like some kind of like LCD screen, so you could just like play shit, kind of like that orb in Vegas. It could your fake eyes,
sphere?
just, constantly.
I mean, they made a
changing.
really big sphere. I'm sure they could make a smaller sphere.
Like a prototype for a. Speaking of which, how is out of all the things that have been remade, how have we not gotten a sequel or a remake to The Last Starfighter? Can you imagine doing that with like today's technology? Because you could automatically do like a video game tie-in to go with it. I mean, it's just fucking marketing 101. Like, I'm surprised Disney has not like jumped all into that shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they just haven't. Seen enough of it, a demand from people to be like, oh, we would love to see a modern, retelling of this or whatever. The other thing, too, is everything nowadays has to have some sort of virtue signal or message. And, like, we're just going to piss a lot of people off if we go that route with this. Like,
It's a time we should piss people off. Back to a simpler time. When it was just about shooting aliens in the face.
save the aliens. What if we are the aliens?
That's how they're going to flip it. It's going to be the Earthlings are now invading, and some alien kid is the last Starfighter, and he's got to defend the galaxy from these evil, racist humans.
I mean, there's always two sides to every story.
Yeah, we get one from the Kodan Armada's perspective. We're like, hey, those Rylos are a bunch of assholes. They're like space Nazis. Like, we got to kill them.
I mean, what?
And through the whole thing, you think like they're the good guys, and it's like the invading aliens are like kind of like you hadn't watched any like the new Doctor Who. But like in one of the new seasons, there's these like really grotesque looking aliens, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're here to like kill us all." And it turns out like the human person, whatever, was actually like, or no, there was a cute alien, and there was these just nasty aliens hunting him, and they're trying to defend this cute little alien. And it turns out like the cute little alien was actually like Space Hitler, and the nasty looking aliens were actually some kind of like intergalactic like police force trying to arrest this guy.
So stop judging books by covers and whatnot. I need to get around to watching some more Doctor Who.
Yeah, I bowed out for a few years there.
Yeah, I did too, and I didn't. To be honest, I'm not even sure why.
I just got like, I think when I got rid of cable. At that point, there was nowhere to like stream it, and it was like it's not worth trying to find. Like, it's not like, oh, I quit watching when the girl Doctor Who took over. No, I like pieced out like halfway through Peter Capaldi, so I was like before that. But yeah, I went back when we got like the 3 specials with David Tennant, and then I watched this first season of the new guy, and it was not bad. I was like, all right, I'll follow. I'll get back into some Who, especially now that it's on Disney Plus.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Doctor?
Not what? Who? Not Doctor Strange. Doctor Who.
But he is pretty strange. Or she. They. Them.
It.
Whatever.
Depends on the season. Oh. So yeah.
I don't know.
Space
Like
Fighters.
going back to, your thought of the you could almost do like a trilogy. Or hell, even like 4 films.
I mean, you
One
could-
from the human perspective, one from each of the alien, faction perspectives, and then like one like, oh shit, we all need to come together because we're just gonna wipe each other out and nobody's gonna
There's
exist.
a third threat that we now
Yeah.
have to team up to go after, or even as has become popular, the late edition sequel, where I mean, Alex Guest is still alive because at the end of that movie, he goes back to see his family one last time, and he's like, I got to go back because I'm the last Starfighter, so I got to rebuild the Star League. We get like it's the future, and now he's like the grizzled old veteran, like he's like the admiral of the Star League, and there's some like new hotshot rookie that he has to like take under his wing and turn into the next badass Starfighter.
Which is his brother.
Yeah. I mean, hell, it's
Because
been 40 years. Hell, his brother's like probably 50 at this point, so it'd have to be like his grand nephew or some shit.
it's like, yeah, there's this game. We're all gonna play it because it's literally the only game out there.
Yeah, it's like fucking kids, like internet's down or whatever, and they're like, they find this old arcade game in a fucking like storage unit, like, whoa, these old coin-op games, man. And like some like kids from like the modern time like plug it back in, and like it still works, and they end up like signaling the Star League, and like fucking grizzled old Alex.
Yeah,
shows
but
up.
nowadays it'd be like, oh, it's VR, blah blah blah. Going back to that whole Adam Sandler. Pretty sure that was Adam Sandler. I don't know. One of those video game movies that I've long since forgot about. I was like, whoa, it's big ass Pac-Man destroying shit.
Yeah, I cannot remember. Pixels, that's the name of that movie.
Oh yeah, Pixels.
That was another one. It was like, it was just a fun movie. We don't have a lot of just fun
It got a lot of
movies
hate
anymore.
though too. I don't know. Like, I think people try to read too much into shit sometimes. Like,
Sometimes you gotta just turn your brain off and enjoy some shit.
my brain's all. Wait, I have no brain.
We could do that back in the
What
80s.
what am I even doing right now?
And the music from this too, like even Amanda was like, this sounds very much like Star Wars stuff. I'm like, of course, like Star Wars came out like 5 years before
It's
that.
an opera.
It's like everyone is like, we need like cool like epic space
Everything-
music.
Everything needs to have all the strings.
I mean, John Williams like basically created a whole genre of music that everyone copied throughout the 80s. If it's sci-fi, it's gonna sound like Star Wars.
Even to this day.
Dun, 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 dun.
Whoa. Epic.
I don't know how many times the fucking Cantina Band song just gets stuck in my head. I'll be like cutting the grass and be like, dun, 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 dun.
And then like all of a sudden it's like, I lost 30 minutes. Where did that just go?
Yeah.
What happened? Like sometimes when you start driving, you get tunnel vision. It's like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Did I run all the stop signs, the red lights? Did I just like mow over 37 people?
It's like we're on vacation. It's like we're going on an adventure. You automatically start humming the Indiana Jones theme.
I love Adventure Time.
And Grig reminded me very much of remember that movie Enemy Mine?
Yeah.
Where the makeup on him looked a lot like the the aliens from Enemy Mine with whatever Lou Gossett Jr.
That was another great movie.
I mean, there was some good sci-fi in the early 80s. There wasn't all like cheesy sci-fi originals. Like there was some like really good. It's like the renaissance of sci-fi.
And then we got Signs.
God. I think that was like the movie that finally, like, I'm not watching any more M. Night Shyamalan films. I fucking hate M. Night Shyamalan. Like, fucking Sixth Sense. All right, that was good. And then everything just got stupid after that. It's like, you got aliens. We're coming all the way. We're allergic to water. And we're going to invade a planet that's 80% water.
Shut up. That's always been my argument.
The sky occasionally pisses water. But we're not going to have, like, spacesuits or umbrellas and shit. We're not going to be defeated by humans rising up and fighting us off. No. We're going to get defeated by the wet season.
With a baseball bat.
You just got to move
Instead of getting waterboarded, you get water batted.
You just got to. That's how we're going to defeat the aliens. We're all going to move to, like, South America where there's monsoon seasons and shit. And, like, we all got to go to the tropics where it just rains all the fucking time. England would probably be good. I hear it rains a lot in England, too.
I feel like I'm hungover, but I shouldn't be hungover because I didn't do anything to be hungover. I feel very blah today. Like, I feel like that's how I'm sounding hearing myself in the headset.
That's like your it's a sign of getting older, man. If you drink the night before, even if you're not hungover, it's like the batteries are not charged the next day. It's like when I occasionally drink, it's like if I'm not hungover, I just feel tired the next day. It's like my body's like, bro, what the fuck did you do? You're old. You shouldn't be doing this.
I did have a fucking epic road trip, though, between Wednesday, Thursday, and coming back Friday. So I think the 20-plus hour of driving.
Cross too many timelines.
Dude,
and your body doesn't know how to...
Indiana? No, I could never live in Indiana. I was in and out of the Central and Eastern time zone like 7 times. Like, because I guess we're right there where the cutoff is. But I found a theme park in a place called Santa Claus and Holiday World, and I wanted to go visit it.
In Indiana, that sounds a weird place to have.
Dude, this entire the name of the town is Santa Claus, and dude, like, this would be like the tourist trap.
Did you see
from
Tim
hell. Allen? But I was like, whoa, they have a theme park and everything Santa. Like, you go into a gas station, there's like life-size Santa statues everywhere and stuff. Like,
that's weird.
Like, you come to this place around, between Thanksgiving and sometime in December, like, dude, I'll get out. Like, they have, like, luxury, like, Santa, resort type yurts and, like, I don't know. My mind was blown. And then a lot of corn.
Yeah, that's about all.
A lot of corn.
Iowa, too, is like, I hear is... a lot of corn.
I'm like...
Find some corn holders out there. Children of the corn.
I definitely got those vibes. Like, we parked...
Did you get tempted to, like, have a few beers and go try to make some crop circles?
No, I was ready to get the fuck out. Like, what sucked is we did all that driving literally for 45 minutes worth of work.
Damn.
But whatever. It'd be like that sometimes. But because it was 45 minutes of work, I'm here today and not being like, Joe, I'm in Indiana. I barely get cell signal. There's no fucking way I can remote in.
Well, speaking of returning from an epic journey, when he goes back to the trailer park to, like, say goodbye and pick up his girlfriend, like, all the they're like, fuck, aliens are finally invading, and all the residents of the trailer park comes out, and Granny's got the double-barrel shotgun. I'm like, fucking Granny's a gangster. Like, everyone else is like, oh shit. Granny's like, yo, I'm strapped. Fuck these aliens. And if you notice, like, when Grig gets off the ship, and they're like, oh, it's a fucking monster. Like, no, this is my partner, Grig. And he goes around and starts shaking everybody's hand, and he gets to Granny, and he gives her a fucking salute before he shakes her hand. He's like, yeah, I see a fucking warrior here. What's up, Grandma?
Now, I hear you guys have those things called biscuits. Let's get some biscuits going. Oh, we don't have time for biscuits because we've got a fucking slow-ass elevator and not a protractor.
Like, can y'all not just beam me up? No, we got this, like, fucking slow-ass elevator to get you back on the ship. But yeah, Grandma was a fucking gangster. Shows up strapped. All the other trailer park people are like, oh my god, aliens, we're gonna get butt probed. And Grandma's like, I ain't getting fucking butt probed. I'm capping ET's ass.
That's another one I'm kind of surprised hasn't received a remake of some kind.
They did that like the Anniversary re-release, and they edited all the guns out and made it stupid.
Oh yeah, they did do that, didn't they?
Yeah. After that, it's like everyone's like, "Fuck ET." What about a modern Alf?
Nah, Peter would protest. He eats too many cats.
Yeah. True. Everything we loved from the 80s was too problematic. Everything's retroactively canceled. Speaking of retroactively canceled, I saw some...
have we been canceled yet?
Nah, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But then again, I'm not even sure people are listening to this. I saw a Tesla truck painted like the General Lee. And I also saw a green version of the General Lee that was a advertising car for a weed company. And it was it was 420 on the side, and I forgot what flag it was, like a pot leaf flag on the roof.
The coolest Cybertruck story I have is I saw one, and the guy had wrapped it and decked it out to look like a Halo Warthog.
That's the only way to make those things look cool.
Like, I was like, okay.
Turn it into a Warthog and put a fucking 50 cal mount in the back. Then you're cool. Otherwise, you're just like, that looks like something a child that like drew. And not even like, you know, the
That's
short,
all Elon
and
Musk
not even
has
like,
done is taken all of our childhood drawings ever and been like,
this looks like something that a kid that like doesn't know what a truck looks like drew a truck. Like I said, not even like, you know, the kids from art class. He took the drawings from, you know, the kids in the on the short bus and like, I'm gonna make a car out of this, but I'm gonna make it bulletproof and shiny. I mean, it sounds like shit kids would design. Bro, I'm gonna make a truck that's like all chrome, and then it's gonna be bulletproof.
on the Fury Road.
On the Fury Road.
The War Boys would love that shit.
I mean, they wouldn't have to worry about gas. It's electric. But then again, where are they going to get their fucking electricity?
I mean, they got water.
That's like how many motherfuckers I've seen charging. Like, we got electric trucks, but I'm charging it off this diesel, like, generator.
Yeah, the hotel we stayed at, like, was just south of Nashville. And the entire front section of the lot had been converted to EV charging stations only.
Not a single
so,
one
like,
in there, was there?
30 empty spaces, like, not a single vehicle being charged. Like, yeah, this is wise. So
they need to have... They've got, like, the wireless chargers for your cell phone now, where you just, like, put it on a fucking hockey puck and it charges. Why can't we get vehicle-sized versions of that, where it's like it's just the parking space? You just pull in.
You just want that much more construction,
and it
don't
charges
you?
while you're like.
Could you imagine, like,
inside doing shit?
And that shit's finicky at best. Like, when my old phone was fucking up and the charging port was trying to explode and short and catch on fire and shit, like, that was the only way I could do it. But, like, I'm like, man, I haven't used one of these wireless chargers in a few years. I'm sure the technology's gotten better. No, it still kind of sucked. The only thing I liked it for was it would charge my AirPods. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't need to worry about carrying, you know, Android and Apple cables now. I just charge the AirPods up via the wireless. That was that.
Yeah, because, like, every phone I've ever had, I've had a case on, and those wireless chargers never work good with a case. And it's like, I don't want to have to, like, pull my phone out of the case, like, every night before I charge it. So it's like, that shit's just...
And also, too, because I'm learning I'm pretty much just always going to be on call. So I'm like, fuck, phone's about to die. So I'm, like, sitting here trying to hold the fucking, you know, wireless thing and the phone. And, dude, that adds a whole nother level of complexity. Like... That's my stories. This was a great movie. Folks that haven't seen it should watch it.
I don't think we even talked about all right, the weapon of last resort is the Death Blossom, where you just hit a button and we fire all the guns at once and we fucking spin like one of those old school like gyroscope rides you used to see at the fair where they just spin you till you puke. And I was like, how is this not like a ride at fucking Disney or some shit? Because I mean that was like been a hell of a fucking ride to be sitting in that gunner seat while the thing's like spinning in every fucking direction.
You know, I remember when I was a kid, or a teenager, I guess. I don't know. The one time I went to Disney before being an adult, but they had like this, like 4D theater like thing. So you go in and it's a big circular building, and this alien escapes containment. So you hear the wings, you smell the breath, and all that kind of like that shit was fucking wild. Like, I remember that legit almost scaring the shit out of me, like more so than, like, any haunted houses. I was like, something could malfunction. We're strapped in. We could all catch on fire and burn right now.
Yep, we're all fucked. Yeah, I remember one of those, like, an early one up in, like, Gatlinburg, and it was, like, an aliens ride. So, it, like, you were supposed to be in, like, those big armored APZs driving around, and, like, the seats would all bounce and kind of tilt and shit as the big-ass trucks, like, driving around. And, like, alien would get close, and it would, like, blow little, like, air jets at you and shit, so it felt like the alien was, like, running past you and everything. That was fun. And I remember, like, as a little kid, I don't even remember what video game it was, but me and my cousin would be playing that and be, like, fucking surrounded by it. He's like, Death Blossom, dude, Death Blossom. We'd just start spinning the controller and hitting the fucking fire button as fast as you could. Like, just like, gotta do a Death Blossom.
Like, that's just utter panic mode. Just hit all the things at one time. And secretly, that's how the Konami code was born.
Like, fucking playing Contra or whatever. Like, just jump and fire. You just do a barrel roll. Like, Star Fox action. Yeah, because probably Star Fox was my, like, when games had patterns.
Dude, that
and
was
getting,
that
like,
was
super
the first,
focused.
like, really, I mean, plus two, like, every Super Nintendo was pretty much bundled with that.
Yeah, because I remember, and it was like,
didn't they do a re-release for the Nintendo 64?
Yeah, I think there's a 64 version of Star Fox, and then there was like kind of like a RPG Star Fox game where you were not in the ship, you were like actually like running around a map as Star Fox doing shit. And I'm like, this defeats the point. I want to blow shit up with my ship. Falco.
Flying games are difficult though.
There's one on my tail. And I always played better if I had music playing. If I wanted to beat Star Fox, I had to like put on some like AC/DC and just like crank it up because it was like, I don't know, like the music like shut off the rest of my brain where I could just like, it's time to like get in the zone.
How many more plugs are you gonna do for AutoZone today? They're not a sponsor yet, right?
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Actually, I went to Advanced Auto last night. I didn't go to AutoZone. I needed windshield wipers. And here's the dumbest thing. 'Cause I've not been in AutoZone or Advanced, wherever the fuck I was at. Remember, like, there used to be like a book where like, I need like this specific part, but it's not one of the ones they keep behind the counter. Let me look up and see what windshield wipers I need. No, now it's a QR code. They're like, need to know what kind of wiper you got? Scan this QR code. And I left my phone in the fucking car, and I'm like, God damn it. So I finally I was like, hey, dude, I ain't got a phone. Like, can you look this shit up for me? Yeah, okay. So like, I made them look up those. I'm not walking all the way back out to my car just to fucking come in here and look up what goddamn windshield wiper I need.
I've noticed a lot more restaurants have gone to the QR code method for their menus as well.
Hell, a lot of them, like, you fucking, like, pay at the little, they got like a little fucking box at the desk. They don't even want to take your money anymore. Like, no, use your card, pay here. Like,
pay
cool.
Now, pay later. Don't pay at all. I'm out.
It's like, why am I tipping you? Because you're doing less and less shit.
What kills me is, I don't know. Like, I get it. Like, if I've got a server or something, absolutely. Like, but, like, you go to a fast food joint, and it's like, how much would you like to tip? I was like, tip for what? I'm not even eating here.
Or hell, like, I tried to go in a Taco Bell, and I'm like, I don't want to use the fucking computer screen to order. And I waited at the counter, and they're like, nobody's working. They're like, no, the only way you can get food is to go over there and use the fucking app. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I'm going somewhere else.
I did find I like the app, though. Like, not the menu order thing, but the actual Taco Bell app, because, like, they do dollar days and shit. So, like, I don't know. I don't remember what day it was, but I got, like, a Mexican pizza and some other shit, and it was, like, $4.
Nice. Let's say every time I go through a McDonald's drive-thru now, like, will you be using the app today? I'm like, no, I'm in your fucking drive-thru, asshole. Take my order. So, final thoughts on this here. Has it held up for 40 years? Is it still worth seeing if you've not?
From a story standpoint and everything else, absolutely. Now, like, the computer, imagery is a bit dated in a lot of places, but
the makeup effects, though, still look really good.
Yeah, everything that was done practical absolutely still holds up. But, dude, I was watching this, and, I mean, if you're a fan of the 80s era or whatever and haven't seen this, then absolutely check out, the movie.
It's like $4 on Prime. I mean, fire up a cigar.
Like, what's crazy to me is we're so willing to be like, I'm going to spend $4 on a damn near, 40-year-old movie. Like, that tells you right there, it's fucking worth it.
Yeah. And it's like, because if it wasn't worth it, it'd be streaming for free somewhere. But it's one of those fews that's like, nope, it's not streaming anywhere. You're going to have to pay if you want to see this shit, because it's a classic.
I mean, I'm sure I had seen this movie at some point, but I did not remember it for shit. So I'm glad that you were like, yeah, dude, topic's this, and, I got introduced to a new film.
So, yeah, as we kind of wrap this up, final thoughts on this here Rocky Patel Edge. I I haven't smoked like the regular Edge in like forever, but it was kind of like one of my original go-to cigars, and like I said, I've kind of moved on to other things but going back to this, it's costs a little more than the old $5 Edge, but yeah, it's peppery, little earthy, kind of a hit of cocoa, so it's in that medium plus to full strength range that I like with a cigar. So I remember like that's one of the reasons why I started smoking like the original Edge, because like you said, it just came in like a big box, and on the box it said like, warning for serious cigar smokers only, smoke while sitting down. And I was like, fuck you, don't tell me what to do. I'll take that as a challenge. I'm gonna smoke this bitch and survive. And that's probably why like my palate's all fucked up, because I didn't start with light cigars. I just went straight to the strong shit, because I'm like, I like a fucking challenge. Don't tell me I can't smoke this. I'm gonna smoke too, motherfucker, just because you said that.
At the same damn time.
And their marketing guys are like, ha ha ha, it's working. But yeah, that's all we got for you this week. We'll be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.